Stop by Family Dollar for the ingredients to a perfect lunch and find more while spending less. Pick up Bumblebee tuna or chicken salad, Lay's, Powerade drinks, and for dessert, Little Debbie snack cakes. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
Subscribe to the daily newsletter.
WQEE 99.1 FM The Key, home of Southern sports and talk. Noonan, Sharpsburg, Franklin.
Shopping for insurance doesn't have to be stressful. I'm Christy, owner of Ellsworth Insurance, located here in Noonan, Georgia. We're an independent agency with access to multiple carriers for home, auto, life, health, and commercial insurance. We're your one-stop shop for your insurance needs. Visit our website at www.insurewithellsworth.com or call the office at 770-755-7053 to schedule an appointment. We look forward to meeting you soon.
Moving is a big decision. Selling or buying a home in any market, but especially today's, can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killingsworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. Find us online at killingsworthrealty.com or call 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help overcome barriers that prevent their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy. Please visit our website at www.familypatternsmatter.org.
The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele. It's now time for Heart to Heart Radio, presented by Connecting Hearts Network, connecting women to one another and resources. Now here's your host, Margie Conway.
Hi again, this is Margie Conway with Connecting Hearts Network, and I am sitting here with some good friends. I have Amy and I have Linda Kirkpatrick from Family Patterns Matters. We have a lot to talk about today. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we stuck Amy in here, and now I'm putting her on the microphone, and she's like, why? But she helps Linda with Family Patterns Matters from time to time, too, so we're happy you're in here with us, Amy.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I appreciate you more than you know. And your son. He's a delight.
Thank you.
Delight.
We do love our Amy, and we love Amy's in general because we have like 4 of them around us lately. So
we do.
But this one is our Amy. All right, we are here to talk about Family Patterns Matters, and we're doing it this particular week because there is a great benefit coming this Saturday. It is I'm having to look up the date. It is March 25th at Madras Church. We are having a great big motorcycle ride.
Yes, we are. I'm so excited.
And it's not just motorcycles. If you got a car and you just want to support a good thing, you can ride behind the motorcycles and support it. So what brought the idea of doing a motorcycle ride around?
Well, I don't like to do the big galas.
Right.
And I was talking with someone one time, and we were talking about doing a 5K. Mm-hmm. And she had done one, and it was successful. And we have done them in the past, many, many, many years ago. But she said, what about a motorcycle ride? That is easy, mm-hmm. and I can help you plan it. I can get you hooked up with Faith Riders, and we'll make it happen. So we all started putting our heads together, and we came up with March 25th, which I know it's supposed to rain, but it's not going to.
Well, even if it does, being hot and sweaty, we're naming it and claiming it on that.
That's right. Yeah. And the great part about it is, we have put it out to a lot of clubs, mm-hmm. and they've contacted me, and people have contacted me and said if it's not pouring, I will be there. The other great part is you can register there. We're hoping to be there between 9 and 9:30. Kickstands up at 11 if it's not pouring, and then we might say kickstands up when it stops. Right. But we don't know, but we're hoping that everything's going to go great. We're going to have incredible vendors there. Yeah. They're going to be sharing the things that they make, the things that they sell, and how they're supporting Family Patterns Matter in this event. The other good thing is we're going to have the most incredible raffles to raffle off that you have ever seen, and you're going to want to spend $1 a ticket.
Okay.
For a lot of them. And we're also going to be doing the 50-50 raffle. We have Doug Fields, and I'm trying to think of the band he is with, who is going to be there giving us music. It's going to be incredible. We're going to have hot dogs and hamburgers and drinks for sale. And I'm just really excited. This whole event was decided upon because we need people to understand what Family Patterns Matter does in our community.
Right, absolutely.
What we do for our children and their families. Most of the students that we work with are marginalized.
Right.
Their families don't know what to do for them. And that's where we come in, and we do one-on-one with them at our group meetings and throughout the month.
That's it. And a motorcycle ride is a good thing. It's called the Good Vibes Ride, Changing Lives. I'm going to give you a little information, and I'll give it to you again at the end, but it is Saturday, March 25th at Madras Church by Madras Park, 2355 U.S. Highway 29 North. You can pre-register online. We have a QR code, and we will stick it below all of our announcements with this, and you get a T-shirt. There's $20 for a biker and $5 for a passenger. If you're in a car, it's $25, however many people may be in the car. Registration's at 9:30 the morning of the event, and the kickstands, like you said, is going to be up at 11, but depends on how the rain's going.
Yeah.
All right. Then you got great vendors, vendor opportunities, and it's not expensive. It's just $25 a vendor. I know my husband's coming and bringing a lot of his metal artwork that he did. He did great at Gypsy Junkers and had a bunch of people making requests, so he is making those things for them and bringing them over and telling them to come to the ride. And so I know he's one of them. Do you know any of the other vendors you got ahead of time ready to set up? We've got Ellsworth Insurance and Hillcrest Chapel. We'll be giving information. I know Connecting Hearts is going to be there, and we'll have some blessing bags to give out and some information to share with you.
I can't think of any right now.
That's okay, because I can't either, even though I've been getting the emails for some of it.
Me too. And for some reason, I'm drawing a blank.
That's all right.
You know, we're going to have some excellent vendors. So
yes.
Like I said, I've had people contacting me, and of course, they have mentioned the weather, and I said, well, hopefully it's going to be great. This is our first annual motorcycle ride, and we plan to make it a yearly event. If you want to know more about Family Patterns Matter, please contact us at 404-944-8024 or familypatternsmatter@gmail.com. You can also visit our website at www.familypatternsmatter.org. We have the best people ever working with us. I mean, Connecting Hearts and Margie and Amy and Lowe's and Connect.
Lowe's gave you a drill set?
Yes, a $200 drill set.
I'm going to raffle that off.
Mm-hmm, and something from Buff City. We're getting something from Baker's Bags, and I can't remember everything, but it's just going to be incredible. And
right. Plenty of raffles, so you can come out with your family for the day. It's only going to, if it rains at all, it's going to be lightly raining. We are going to have vendors. We're going to have food. We're going to have a band. We're going to have raffles. Going to have the motorcycle ride with the cars following behind, and it's all to benefit Family Patterns Matter.
Yes, it is, and I just wanted to give a statistic that I pulled up. In 2021, there were 31,768 homeless children in the state of Georgia.
Yeah.
One of the things that we look at is how kids are living. What are their living conditions? We work with them and their families, if they are homeless, to get out of that position. The other thing we look at is bullying. The bullying in schools has gotten
It's ridiculous because it's in person and online, so bullying has gone.
And we are getting into the schools and we're talking to the kids and it's, we're spreading the word about how they can stand up to it, how they can understand that it's not their fault. It's the fault of the other person. Something is probably going on in their life. I wanted to just mention what our successes are. Reaching their full potential is when a child completes high school.
Right.
And then they make a choice to either go to a trade school, go to online training, go to technical school.
They can expand a lot, yeah.
Yeah, lots of different things, but we want to make sure, and we even have had successes in college.
Right.
One of our kids that graduated went to the military. That is their success, and then they can change the pattern.
Right. And that's a big deal, changing the patterns that we come from. That's where your name comes from.
Yes.
We've talked about how I grew up, and, I could have used a program like this, which I guess the school/church I went to was my program, but it's kids need you to reach out, and the ones that you are serving now, I know from being around some of them that some of them, a lot of them are single parent homes, a lot of them are being raised by grandparents.
Yeah.
Some of these kids has been through some trauma that these adults cannot begin to understand. I know that you get children from different ways, so how do children get referred to Family Patterns?
A lot of it is word of mouth.
Yeah.
Sometimes the kids will talk about it to their friends. The Grandparents Raising Grandchildren network is huge. We also get kids from the Department of Juvenile Justice. School counselors have called us. They just come, and we love it. The more we have, the better we feel.
Oh, right.
It's amazing that children don't talk to their parents, and one of the main things they have said to us is the adults in our lives don't listen to us.
Oh, you're right. And the biggest conversation I remember when I came, there was a couple of the girls there, but there was one girl who had been through things, and I recognized she was going for shock value, so she'd say all these things to see if she could scare me away.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're used to that, because if they come out with some of these things out of their mouth, adults usually run in another direction. They don't know what to do. I taught middle school, Sunday school for like 14 years, 15 years, and those kids from when I began to when I ended, their world had just changed. Yeah. There is so much more that they are exposed to, and so their shock value is much different than what it was when I was growing up.
Absolutely. And kids don't like to really talk about what's happening with their parents. But when they come to us, we tell them, you know what? We're not going to judge you. We're just going to listen. If you want to tell it in private, we're going to listen to you in private.
Right.
If you want to tell it and see if the other kids have experienced it, that's okay too. And we do this, and this is what a lot of the funding from this ride is going to come from. Be used for is art therapy and music therapy, social skills, literacy skills, life skills. A lot of our kids don't know how to manage their finances. So next month we're going to be working with financial awareness for our kids so they can begin to understand, hey, you know what, if I have $5, what am I going to do with it? Or am I going to save it? Am I going to spend it? Or am I going to, gift somebody something? So, and kids in today's world have difficulty with all of those things because they think they can learn it all on technology. And they can't. It's got to be a one-on-one thing.
Right.
Many of our kids need tutoring, and we offer free tutoring. We don't offer it in the school. We all offer it outside the school setting because we know they want to be away from that.
Right.
And they do well. Some of our kids have been traumatized in different ways, and a lot of them are still wearing masks.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because they're hiding their face or if they just...
I can tell you, I have a couple of teenage grandchildren, and one of them... when they heard the president say, we have COVID, stay in your house, he stayed in the house because that's what the president said. And then when he actually went to venture back out and was at school and they had a conference, he was in the room with 3 people, and the next day 2 of those were diagnosed with COVID. So he went back to his house and wouldn't come back out. Yeah. But my granddaughter, she said she liked wearing the masks, and she would pull her hoodie up over her head and wear her mask, and she didn't have to, in her words, people today. Yeah. And it was a good way for them to hide.
Yeah.
Just, you know, a good way to hide behind, just like us ladies hide behind all our makeup and our jewelry and our hair and nails. Kids, you know, whatever they can use, they'll do that.
Absolutely. But what we love with our kids is sometimes they don't want to come, but when they get there,
right,
they love it. And it's just, we try to make it fun, interactive, because we know, and we have to have food. Right. You know, if we don't have those 3 things going on, the kids, you know, they're going to...
Well, you've had some great groups, and you have some coming in. I know you've had the More Music group coming in. Tell us what they do with you.
The More Music Foundation actually does lessons with kids for 3 to 4 months, and they're private. And then once the kids are done, we gift them a guitar and a case. And we can see how they change when they're in those meetings, because they're just, you know, just they're learning something. Oh, and I have to say something that's really awesome. I don't know if you all have heard about the downhill race that Yamaha is putting on. They have sponsored 2 of our kids that are building the cart, and they have designed it, and they're going to be in that race. I'm not sure what the date is, but I think it might be I know it's in April, but that's just one thing, getting our kids out there doing things they wouldn't normally do.
Oh, right.
You know, we have Sky Best with Hot Works comes in, and she does fun with exercise. We have had Hank Arnold come in, and I was so impressed with how our kids interacted with him on talking about drugs and how it can impact them, and it was very interactive, and he did a very good job, and that's Hank Arnold with Coweta Force. We've had police officers come in. We always have Caring Paws once a month comes in, and 4 of the kids get to go in at different times and spend 15 minutes reading to the dog, just because we want to encourage that reading with them. Just a lot of things, like we planted a garden.
Yeah, I remember that.
And we're not going to do that this year. We're going to be doing a cookbook. And so we're excited about that, and it's going to be the things the kids love, and then some of what our volunteers and their kids love, and our
my kids love me not to cook.
Oh, well, I'm not much of a cooker here lately either, but you know, we're just trying to think up things to get our information into the community. And so we're looking at, you know, like the motorcycle ride. It's so important to us because it's actually the biggest event we've had. And,
it's growing. It's getting a lot of attention, and that's what you need, because you are a small nonprofit.
Yes, we're very
small. You don't get most of the big grants and things that go around.
No, because we're small, and a lot of people don't know what we do.
Right.
And we're not about numbers. That's what people have to understand when it comes to those that we work with. Of course, we want to work with a lot of our kids, and we want to see all of them reach their full potential.
Right.
But we do it one child at a time, you know, and it's different people working with that child. If we can get a mentor, we love mentors. We love to have them come in and just talk with our kids and work with our kids. And just, if anybody has an idea, shoot it to us, because we will try it.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about a certification I just got. It's called One Love, and it is for children and teens and young adults, and it uses video-based things, and it works with them on their relationships and recognizing what is healthy and unhealthy relationships, and how to extract themselves from unhealthy ones and look for the healthy ones. And it's really awesome group to do that we just went through and got certification, because, you know, our goal at the studio and at Connecting Hearts is to empower women. But if we can catch these young ones while they're young and they can learn these things, then they won't have to go through what a lot of the women have gone through that we deal with.
Absolutely. And, you know, and a lot of them that we serve and work with have experienced a lot of that stuff and seen it in their home. So I'm signing you up.
Well, I did it with you in mind because it's a great program. It's a national program. I'll give you more information about it later. But basically, it is to educate kids 6 to in their early 20s what healthy and unhealthy relationships are in regards to their friendships and their significant others.
Well, and kids sometimes reach out and don't understand what they reach out for.
Right.
And they get involved with somebody that they think is going to be really kind and cool, and that person turns out not to be. And they have to understand, what to look for.
Oh, absolutely.
And we just try to talk to them in the best way we can. We're adults. And kids like to listen to peers, and that's why we love the peer conversations that we have. And we have one young man that's in his early 20s that volunteers with us, and he loves talking to the kids as well. And he had some trauma in his life, so he shares that, and he tells them, hey, you can overcome it. And it's just...
You need to hear that. You need to know, first of all, you're not alone. And you can overcome the things that has happened. I remember when I was a kid and all that stuff was going on at home, I didn't tell anybody what was going on. I realized later that, yes, at the private school I went to that my grandmother paid for, but for an education, which was the best thing she could have ever done for me, they did know. And they loved on me just unbelievably. I've even got pictures in the yearbook where they have me hugging on the teacher because I hugged on the teachers because I needed that affection and I needed that guidance, and that was my safe place. A place like this is a safe place.
Well, and what's great about it is the kids come in and they do hug.
Right.
And a lot of them don't get that, and they want to know that somebody really cares about them and believes in them, and that's what we bring to them, and that's how we're different. We're just not, okay, this year's over, so we're not going to mentor you anymore. We're not going to do this anymore.
It's building relationships with the children because the children need the relationships.
Well, and trust.
Yes, trust is huge.
The trust is so huge because they don't trust sometimes their parents.
True.
And then we see, I don't like to listen to the news, but there are so many youth killing youth.
Absolutely.
And it breaks my heart. And I just think, wow, first of all, how are these kids getting these guns? Are the parents leaving them out? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand it. Or have they been bullied so much and nobody has really reached out to them and tried to help them with it?
It's different ways because I know, when stuff's going on, you become a little quieter and secluded, or you act out hugely. It can go either way. One thing I was teaching, one of the classes we had, it was talking about you act out and they go to get attention and stuff, but I always excelled at anything I did, but that's because I learned if I was at, the top of the spelling bee, then my family was there not fighting and fussing and drinking and arguing for one night. But I wasn't doing that to get other people's attention. I was doing that to get their attention. When it came to other people, I didn't want their attention. I didn't go out to do this, but I ended up with a little friend in high school, and her family had gone through some trauma in regards to her dad, and we hooked up with each other and supported each other, and then we made a bunch of wrong decisions because there wasn't anybody telling us what were good decisions.
Right.
Yeah. But when you're talking about giving them the experiences that they had, she reminded me last year that when we were 15, we went to play Mercer University to a college prep program, and we both were good students, and we went to that program. But the reason that we got into that program was because of our home lives, and we had shared enough of that to get into the program. Yeah. But they did aptitude tests and everything, and they put me in TV and radio broadcasting when I was 15.
Wow.
And I'm like, it just took me like 40 more years before I got to it. Which is not true, because I did do the production work at the church in video and radio. But it's giving the experiences, and that there is the possibility is huge in kids' lives.
Well, and we try to listen to what it is they want. If they say something that's really let's go play basketball and it's pouring down rain. No, we're not going to do that.
Well, that's good decision-making skills, yeah.
And they don't have that.
No, they don't.
You know, and so that's what we're about.
Yeah.
Giving them the skills and the tools they need to overcome whatever is happening in their life and to change that so they can have a good life and a good family.
And it can be changed. We can change those family patterns just one small step at a time.
Absolutely, and that's what we're doing, and that's why we're hosting the motorcycle ride.
That's it.
To raise awareness, and that's why we call it Good Vibes, Changing Lives. You got to have those good vibes that make you feel good before you're going to want to do anything that's good for you.
Absolutely, that is true. So we're going to encourage you guys to come out to the motorcycle ride. If you got a motorcycle, if you got a scooter, if you got a rail buggy, if you got a pickup truck, come out and ride with us because it's going to be a good time. There is going to be the vendors around. There is going to be, me walking around with a microphone and an interviewer saying, hey, what do you think about? and it's, there's going to be food and all these good things, and you get to find out about a good organization because, they say it takes a village to raise a family.
Yes,
and Family Patterns Matters steps in to be part of that village.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So I thank you very much on behalf of all the children for what you do.
Thank you. Well, thank you for what you do for us.
Well, and we didn't make Amy talk anymore, so I'm going to put her on the spot right this minute. I know you and your son volunteer some with Family Patterns Matters. Just give us a little bit about your experience, what that means to you and what you think about it.
Well, I thoroughly enjoy it, and it gives a place for my son to go and have an outlet to. This past meeting that we went to was disability awareness, and we had this gentleman in there called Dewey Skidmore.
Yeah.
And he was a paraplegic, and it was awesome to hear his testimony and him inspire the children to learn how to deal with disabilities and accept them and not look at them any differently from anybody else. So it really helped in that aspect. So.
I had forgot about Dewey.
Yeah, there's a little bit of all kinds of things going on because I don't get over there as much as I would like to because of other obligations. But it's a lot going on for these kids, so I do encourage you to check it out. You can come to the ride at Madras on Saturday and just find out everything you need to know right there. But you can go check out FamilyPatternsMatter.org, and you can get all their information and links to some of this stuff that we've talked about and just some pictures of what's going on and a better understanding of how they're empowering kids. And if you know a kid that needs the services, how you can refer them to that so they can get a little bit of help pushing forward.
Absolutely. And it's free.
Yes,
that's the wonderful part about it. Everything is free, and we just love our kids, and we expect what we know they can do. We don't judge, and we allow them to work at their own pace.
Right. And Linda is, Family Patterns Matters is a 501, okay, you know what I mean. 50, say that again.
501c3.
So you can make donations, and it can be tax deductible. She takes a lot of in-kind, like the food you feed the kids most of the time and all that stuff is given to her. So, I want to encourage you if you need somewhere to help out a little bit financially and physically to show up.
Absolutely.
All right, we thank you for listening to this segment. We have a little bit more coming on in just a minute, but we are going to give you a few words from our sponsors, one of which is Linda Kirkpatrick.
Moving is a big decision. Selling or buying a home in any market, but especially today's, can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killingsworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. Find us online at killingsworthrealty.com or call 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
This afternoon we have Karen and Stacey with us from Coweta Family Connections. Thank you for joining us, Karen.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. And hi, Linda, how are you today?
I'm awesome.
She's always awesome. We love Linda. All right. I am not very familiar with the Coweta Family Connections. Somebody gave me this pamphlet a while back and said, here, you need these resources because I teach her journey group. and that several ladies would do it. So I have used it to send ladies to different agencies or whatever for the resources. So tell us a little bit about what is the Coweta Family Connection.
We are a collaborative made up of area government agencies, nonprofits, members of the faith community, even interested community members who are interested in our mission. And we basically bring together key community partners who want to improve the well-being of children and families in Coweta County. So, you know, Family Patterns Matter. Linda with Family Patterns Matter is a member of our collaborative. DFACS, the Housing Authority, a number of church members, anyone who wants to come together for networking so that they can work together on projects collaboratively, as well as find out about where they might be needed, their services might be needed. I know I found out about the organization when I was actually in my previous job. I taught adult education classes at West Georgia Tech and was the coordinator of the career coach for the youth services program, working specifically with 16 to 24-year-olds. And Three Rivers suggested that as the career coach, I go to the Family Connection meeting. And so I eventually, once I got into my job, went to the meeting, and very first meeting made a connection with someone from the school system. And every time I went to a meeting, I made connections that I needed for my job to let them know about the program so that they could send students our way, and really saw the value of it. Then I got asked to be the secretary of the board, and so I got a little more familiar with what they were doing. And then a year ago, October 1st will be my first-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. It's been a great year of learning, but I became the coordinator and have just continued to really appreciate the place that Coweta Family Connection has in the community, and I'm just thrilled with, we have so many wonderful organizations in our area.
Well, that sounds very well. I know the three of us were having quite a conversation that we really should have taped before this, so we will invite Karen back and have one about the importance of sharing our stories and mental health in the community. And you were saying that part of the goal is to work with mental health and professionals and to reach families and children for that. So how are we doing that?
Yes, well, every collaborative, and I'll say, let me just say this about our collaborative, every county in Georgia has got a family connection. You may not have known that. So while we are a local organization and we choose projects based on, you know, our local area, we are also part of a region of Family Connections, and then part of the state Georgia Family Connection. And you know, so it's great to have those resources throughout the state. But every year we look at the data for our county and decide what are some of the most pressing needs that aren't being met by other organizations. And as we looked at the data for our county, we were troubled by the number of suicides that we're having in our county. You know, underage drinking among high school students, and just the mental health. So we decided to make that our focus, and it'll be one that we focus on for several years. Because with all that's gone on, with the last several years, and especially, you know, we've had COVID. We went through that, has really hurt a lot of people when it comes to mental health, and the isolation from that did a number on a lot of people. And then we had the tornado locally, so I'm sure that has caused a surge in a lot. So there's a lot that has been going on just in our Coweta County, you know, as well as anywhere else. So how would we come to your organization if someone needed help? How would we refer them to you, or how would they reach out to you, or what would we do? Okay, well, we do have a website. The state provides every county a website, and it's Coweta.gafcp, and that stands for Georgia Family Connection Partnership .org. So you can go to our website. The phone number for the collaborative is 678-953-2494, and the email for the collaborative, and the one that I check and work through, is CowetaFamilyConnection@gmail.com. So very easy to remember. Our meetings are the third Tuesday of every month except July, from 11:30 to 1. And this fall we'll be meeting each month at the Goodwill Career Center closer to Noonan, the one on Bullsboro. again, 11:30 to 1. Okay. And in our meetings, we usually have a speaker or some kind of program planned, and then members are always given an opportunity to introduce themselves and talk about any of their agency's needs. Okay. And then members have a chance that they can network, because, of course, that's one of the greatest benefits that our members talk about, is that chance to network. There's really a focus right now in our county, especially on getting organizations to work together.
Right, I've noticed that.
Yeah, the tornado, COVID and the tornado, I think, began that process, and we see the benefit of bringing organizations together. So we love being a part of that. We've been going for about 12 years now here locally.
Okay, Nancy, and I had not heard anything, even though I worked for a local church for a long time.
Well, that's something I'm personally hoping to improve on, is to make sure that all the churches in the area know that we're here, know that we publish the resource guide. Right. We used to publish every 2 years, but we've actually had such great response to our resource guide this year. We only have 500 copies left at this point. Oh, okay. So we're going to be having to do another reprinting soon. But we published the community resource guide that has a lot of the agencies that provide food for people who are food insecure. If there's a housing need or utility needs, things like that, we've got the number, as well as we added sections this year on mental health. So counselors, some of the area, if you need to be in a facility, that kind of thing, as well as a lot of the nonprofits that provide services that people may need. So we try to make it very handy for people to have with them.
It would have been a great resource as the church secretary, because there was constantly someone calling, and I was always searching for what we could do with them. Right.
Yes. Well, that's something I hope to be getting out more to the different churches. I may at this point have to wait till we have our new printing done to get them out.
Well, that's what I was also going to ask. We give our bags out everywhere. Is this something that we could put in the bags that we give out to the public?
That would be awesome. Yeah. And I can also, if somebody needs a PDF of that, if they want to print it out themselves, I just want to get the information out. So I'm happy to send you the latest PDF so you could print your own copy.
I can do that, and I can make copies to put in our bags, so that would be all right to do.
Sure.
Because I set you out one of our little red kindness bags, and our group has been handing them out all over town. Last month or so, we've been a little bit quiet for several reasons, but with fall festivals picking up, we're starting back on that. And Linda's our number one giver outer. She loves to give them out, and I do too, because we're actually treating the person that we give them to, but we're trying to let the local community know that we're here and that different people that we're working with is here to help for different reasons.
Yes. Well, yes, Linda.
Well, I just wanted to say what I like about Family Connection is when we go, those that we that are there, or those that we know are part of the Family Connection, if we need something, we can call them and ask them. If we need them to partner with us on something, they will say, yes, this is what we can do. So it's just a great organization, and I just want people to know you're not out there by yourself, because Family Connections has the opportunities for us to get to know all the nonprofits in the community. And what we do, my nose is running. And anyway, that was what I wanted to insert, that we that we're just there and we help each other, One of the things that I like is there's also job opportunities are found out there, because a lot of people don't know, but the Goodwill Center, Career Center is, that, of course, that's where we're meeting, but people can find out how they can get a job, what they need to do, and it's just a wonderful organization.
Well, and I guess I should let you know also, in addition to our monthly meetings, I publish a weekly newsletter. Okay. And the newsletter, I include, if there are volunteer opportunities, the agencies that are a part of our collaborative will send me that information. If there's a special event going on, I'll put the flyer in the newsletter. If there's employment opportunities, so Goodwill sends me their job listings. And then if they're for the nonprofits in our area, I also list any grant notices. So like the Rotary has their grant going on right now. Kiwanis just finished theirs. And then our state office every week sends us some grant opportunities that they feel would help the the collaborative members. So so there'll be a lot in our newsletter. So if somebody would like that, they can just reach out to me, send me an email with their email address, and I'll add them to my MailChimp weekly newsletter.
We'll make sure that we put that on there when we send this around to people, because that's a great resource. And like I said, I could have used it many times now. I know I have used the little brochure that I received, because I have an older one too, with Her Journey group, and it was great. So I agree we need to spread the word and let people know that this resource is there, because I never knew it. And like I said, with the church secretary, that would have been great to know. So I'm willing to help spread that word however we can do that.
Thank you.
All right. And so you were mentioning your mission and your local partners and things. You want to speak about some of your local partners?
Well, let me tell you a little bit about some of our projects.
Do that.
We've been fortunate that we've submitted 2 grants to the Coweta Community Foundation that we have been awarded. The first grant was part of the Nonprofit Summit grant that they had last year, and it was called Mindfulness Manipulatives for Student Mental Health.
Oh, yes.
And it was to provide mental health manipulatives like stress balls, anxiety rings, poppet bracelets, things that kids can use to help reduce their stress. And we were able to provide a large basket of manipulatives for all the school counselors at a Noonan school.
Oh, very good.
And then the collaborative and some other partners stepped forward to be able to provide it for all the county schools. So now every counselor has got a basket of mental health manipulatives to use with their students in the school system who, are having trouble with stress.
Right.
And through that project, I actually learned that I like anxiety rings. That's the thing that I need to calm my anxiety. So finding out what kind of product is best for you is good.
That's with the children that I work with at the church. They're real big on the poppets and on the fidget toys and things. So I make sure anytime I find those that I keep those for them and they use it. And from teaching in special education before, because that's where I taught at, either that or kindergarten, when I did that, I understand, how they need the manipulatives and the anxiety tools and the things. I wish they'd had more of them back then. Back then, they just broke their pencils and sharpened them a lot.
Yes.
Right. So now we provide things, and that's, I think I have some stress balls over there with lavender and things like that we use for that.
Yes. Well, our stress balls, we were able to have 2 different strategies printed on them, one a breathing technique and one a grounding technique. So in addition to just having the stress ball, they've got 2 techniques to remind them what to do when they're feeling stress.
That's great.
But our second grant that we just got as part of long-term recovery, I mean, you probably know this from your work, but we're part of the Great Resignation. So just everyone is generally feeling stress. But in the nonprofit world, 1 to 2 years, many times our nonprofit workers burn out within a couple of years, and even leaders. The percentage of leaders who will burn out. And so we put in a grant called Caring for Those Who Care to provide some counseling for our nonprofit leaders who have had to work so hard because of the tornado.
Right.
When that first happened, I know those nonprofit leaders were working, 60-hour weeks. And you can hear on some of the calls just the stress that many of them are still 18 months later under. So we're just getting that. We just got that grant, and we'll be getting that started where we can provide up to 6 weeks of counseling, individual and group sessions for some of these leaders, because we need those leaders to stay strong.
Absolutely.
And be successful with their work.
And that's part of why we formed the Connecting Hearts. And what I do here at the studio is if you're not taking care of yourself, you're unable to take care of anybody else. That was a hard lesson I had to learn, because I took care of everybody else until I had nothing left to give.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's necessary that we're able to do that. And I know for recertification for Her Journey this time, the first year, you have to take compassion fatigue classes. So for a week, they had me in classes about compassion fatigue and how you have to take care of yourself and help those who's helping you, and the things you do to de-stress and taking time. And especially those in the nonprofit world, because they're all givers. They're every one of them are, that's in it for the right reasons. They need to learn that they have to give some to themselves. I'm very fond of saying, that Bible verse in the Bible says, love others as yourself. Well, if you're not loving yourself, how are you going to love anybody else?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, and we all have to take time for ourselves.
Right.
It's hard sometimes. We just have to remember, if I don't have the strength to do it today, then I need to step back.
Right.
And that's hard for me. You know, I mean, because I'm always, and my husband even says to me, he says, Linda, you know, you got to step back. You got to, you know, sit down.
Or you will be forced to, like you were recently.
Yes, and that has happened. And I always say, okay, I get it. I understand, God. I need to just sit back and let you take over, and then it'll all work out.
And you know, something that's very simple that some of the meetings I'm in will do at the very beginning, and of course I get busy and forget to do it in my own meeting, but to do some kind of a stress reduction technique right at the beginning of a meeting.
Yeah, you should just say, breathe.
Right, even breathing. Right.
Yes.
That's important.
So there's several little stress reduction techniques that you should do, and I always appreciate when we do that at the beginning of a meeting, because many of us, we get Zoom fatigue. We go from one meeting to the next, and so help me remember. I need to do that at the beginning of the next meeting.
And I'm butting in, and I shouldn't, but we have someone coming from HotWorks to be with our kids to do some of that training tomorrow night for them, and because our kids are always stressed out, you know, and they don't even realize they're stressed out, and new kids that come in, so it's all important. It's all in the way we should look at stuff, and oftentimes we forget. I know I forget. Okay, the kids need to sit down. I need to sit down. Just breathe.
Yes. Well, and that's even the Bible study that we have here on Wednesday afternoons. This week's focus is on our busyness, and our Bible study is strategies we need to pray so that we're protected in these areas. And this one is on our busyness, and it's talking about how you get so busy doing good stuff, but you forget to do the most important stuff. So that is valuable to be able to teach them. So that with the nonprofit workers is going to be very good and valuable to them.
I'm very excited about getting that going. For the community, we're actually trying to plan some mental health related trainings. I know the one coming up soonest is Monday, September 26th from 10 to 11:30. It will also be at Goodwill, the Goodwill Career Center, and it's QPR Suicide Prevention Training, and that stands for Question, Persuade, Refer.
Yes.
And Lieutenant Ashley Gossage from the Carrollton Police Department is going to be doing that training for us. It is free for the public, so anyone is welcome to come. I would like to know that you want to come so I can add you to the list and plan. But we're very excited about getting some of our community trainings going. We also have planned, I'm getting the flyer done now, but it's called Connections Matter. And I know, Linda, you came with several of us from Coweta County last fall. We went over to Fayetteville for a Connections Matter training. The training's about 5 hours long, and that training will be on Monday, November 7th from 9 to 2. I'll let you know about the location as soon as we get that squared away. But it's a great training it's designed to engage community members in building caring connections so that they improve resiliency among themselves as well as those they work with, to become aware of and be able to help prevent childhood trauma, and then really to understand how our interactions with others can support those who've experienced trauma. Because you learn that, most of us have experienced some kind of trauma, but the more types of trauma you experience, especially young, can affect you the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
With health problems as an adult even. So it's important to understand that and to be a positive childhood experience. So I know I've signed up for Elevate Coweta. I'm going to become a mentor in a school.
Oh, that's good.
Because I think, as well as educating the public about these, I feel like it's important that we all need to step up. And give also. So.
Well, a lot of people don't understand about toxic trauma that happens to children. And if their child starts acting out in behaviors that are, not what they should be, there's a reason for that.
Absolutely.
And people don't understand. Something has happened, and it's back there, and we need to be aware of it, and we need to help through them. So the Connections Matter thing is incredible, because people don't think about what children go through, what they see, what they hear, what they experience, and how it impacts them for the rest of their life. And it's scary.
And if you need an example of that, you can go to my blog.
It is. We don't understand. I mean, we look at our lives like I look at my life, and I was telling you guys, I grew up in a wonderful household. Both of my parents, just me and my sister, spoiled rotten, and then you meet kids that don't have that experience that you have, and it's hard because you think, well, all families should be that way, but they're not.
No, the majority are not. It's unfortunately, and that's one thing that we talk about here in the groups that I lead and different things that we do is to be more aware of the person next to you. You don't know what they have been through. Everybody has been through something. And used to, I would, in the back of my mind, think, yeah, if they just knew what I've been through, they'd stop their whining. But now being educated and healed from a lot of it, I understand that those somethings are big for everybody, and whatever it is that they had to go through is just as big for them. And it's, an example of that is with a girl who was in some counseling with us, and I can share this with no problem. After I had shared some of my story, she was supposed to share some of hers, and she came up and she was like, I don't feel like I have a story to share now. And I'm like, why not? And she said, well, hers was mainly that she was one of 7 kids, and she was in the middle, and she felt like she was shuffled around and forgotten a lot of the time. And I'm like, honey, people are going to identify with that much more than the many things I layered upon you right now. So everybody is going through something. And when you were talking about the suicide training, I went through one at Northside Church not long ago, and that's exactly what they were doing. They're teaching you to be aware of the people around you and know what's happening around them, so you can ask questions. Yes. And don't be afraid to ask the questions. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes. And I know, Linda, we had one that was on disabilities this week and inclusion and things, and their biggest thing that they said was ask the question. It is okay if you ask me the question instead of jumping in and doing it. And we need to do more asking. We don't do it because sometimes we're afraid of the answer and we don't really want to be involved. And a lot of times we run around with masks on and say I'm fine until everybody believes us, but we're not. So that is very big. And I can tell you, sign me up for the Connections Matters one that you have, because I will definitely go. And I know that I don't have anything on Mondays because I keep my Mondays for me time. So that will be my me time. Well, that's okay. But and Mondays have been my me time for many, many years because we always took that off with the church since we were working weekends.
That's right.
But we have just a few more minutes. Tell us any lasting words that you want, and we already have how to connect with you, so I'm going to be posting that on our postings. And just share what you have coming up, or just a lasting thought or two that you want to share with people.
Well, another project that I'm just getting started with. I took some training on community cafe conversations.
Oh, okay.
It was a training the state provided, and it's based on the 5 protective factors for families. Building parental resilience, social connections, knowledge of parenting and child development, concrete support in times of need, and social and emotional competence of children. Those all tie in to mental health and strong families. So I took the training, and now I need to hold 10 adult and 10 youth, like high school or college age youth, conversations where and it's a planned conversation for a group of adults. I know I've talked to Linda about meeting with the parents of her group, where you talk about questions that matter, 2 or 3 deep questions, and you're trying to find out what do the parents already know, build on that collective knowledge that they already have, and you're trying to build networks with them, with the parents, so that they've got those social connections.
Yes.
So I'm really excited about the training, and I look forward to finding other organizations in town. Several that are members of our collaborative have said, yes, I'd love for you to do this conversation, this cafe with my group. But if that's something, if you have an organization and you have either a group of parents that you'd like to schedule one of these community cafe conversations, I'd love to talk to you about that. So email me your contact information and I'll be in touch.
We will do that. Share with them one more time what your email is.
Okay. Coweta, familyconnection@gmail.com.
And the website is coweta.gov.
Actually, it's coweta.gafcp.
Oh, I'd have that down.
.org.
Okay.
And that's actually Georgia Family Connection Partnership.
Okay.
Because as I mentioned at the beginning, we're part of a statewide network, and GAFCP is the state organization that oversees every county family connection.
Okay.
And provide resources and help to us. So
this has been great. Like I said, I had the brochure, but I didn't know all these things were going on around town. And I'll be happy to share them. And, I'm the type of person that would say, sign me up for all of them. But I have learned not all of them is mine.
Yes, I understand.
And it has been great talking with you today. I appreciate you coming back.
Well, thank you.
I'm going to invite you back. Let's put it that way.
Well, thank you so much for having me and letting me share the information about the collaborative. I really appreciate it.
Well, anytime you have an announcement, send it over. I'll give you a card that has my email on it, and just send it over. We'll make sure we make the announcements. We'll be happy to do that. Anything that we can do to further this, because it is a great movement in our county to do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next week, we are taping with our sponsors, Amy and Pina, and we also have Emily and Casey Lee coming in, and we're going to talk about financial decisions and things for women, and so a little real estate in there, too, and so that will be a great conversation we're having. But I thank you for joining this Tea Talk with us today, and we look forward to next time. Bye.
Moving is a big decision. Selling or buying a home in any market, but especially today's, can raise a lot of questions. Hi, I'm Amy with Killingsworth Realty. My husband Todd and I serve the Coweta and local area. Our purpose at our first meeting is to learn your goals, answer questions, and provide resources so that you can make the best decision for you and your family. Find us online at killingsworthrealty.com or call 678-525-0047 to schedule a free consultation today to discuss your real estate needs. You don't have to do this alone.
Hello. I'm Pina Payne with Contour Mortgage, and we're so excited. We have just moved to this new company, and we are located at 560 Noonan Crossing Bypass in Noonan, next to Art and Jake's, and we have some great products. Our interest rates are better than any other companies, and we also have some great products for the VA. We can do a better deal for you with fees than any other company. We have a lot of different kind of programs.
Hi, I'm Holly Reese. I'm the founder of Warrior Defenders. I'm a certified tactical self-defense instructor, and I specialize in women's self-defense. I teach technical drills for survival skills and education on self-defense tools and how to use them. My journey started in self-defense because I'm a domestic violence survivor. I'm here to empower women, to teach them how to be their own heroes, and to learn today to have a safer tomorrow.
You can find Holly online at www.warriordefenders.com.
Hey guys, this is Dana with Happy Life Nutrition, located on 18 Perry Street, downtown Noonan. Hours are 8 to 5, Tuesday through Friday. Come check us out. We will be serving up meal replacement shakes, calorie burning teas, coffees, waffles. We have a kids menu and a workout menu. We do deliveries with a 5-drink minimum or $5 delivery charge if less. You can call ahead for your order. Free Wi-Fi, quiet atmosphere for business meetings or get-togethers. Our number at Happy Life Nutrition is 770-683-5172. Can't wait to see you.
This is Margie from Connecting Hearts Network. I'd like you to take just a moment and listen to Linda Kirkpatrick explain to you what Family Patterns Matters is all about.
Family Patterns Matter works with youth and their families to help overcome barriers that prevent their success. We meet twice a month with mentoring, tutoring, teaching life skills, resilience, gratitude, and kindness. We also bring music and art therapy. Please visit our website at www.familypatternsmatter.org.
You have been listening to Tea Talks with Margie Conway in association with Connecting Hearts Network, connecting hearts of women to resources, inspiration, and one another. Tune in next week for another episode of Tea Talk. You have been tuned in to Heart to Heart Radio, presented by Connecting Hearts Network, connecting women to resources and one another. Located at 3 Bullsboro Drive here in Noonan. Tune in next week for another episode of Heart to Heart Radio with Margie Conway.
It's the new music update. 92% of households that join Peloton early in the year are still active a year later.
Yeah, if you like cycling to EDM.
Not just EDM. Try cycling to Broadway hits, take a scenic hike in Iceland on our treadmill, or row to some 80s jams.
Because I have so much free time.
Whether you have 30 minutes or just 5, Peloton can fit any schedule. 92% stick with it. So can you. Try Peloton tread, row, or bikes risk-free with a 30-day home trial. New members only. Not available in remote locations. See additional terms at onepeloton.com/home-trial.